Welcome to the next module of the Influencers Project. The aim of these short digital resources is to help you to develop your digital and social media literacy. This lesson is the continuation of Module 4, Cyberbullying. In the previous video, you were introduced to the issue of cyberbullying, and in this video, you will learn about two other forms of violations of law happening online. First, let's talk about stalking. Stalking is unwanted and/or repeated surveillance by an individual or group towards another person. Stalking behavior is interrelated to harassment and intimidation, and may include following the victim in person or monitoring them. Cyberstalking is the use of the internet or other electronic means to stalk or harass an individual, group, or organization. It may include false accusations, defamation, slander, and libel. It may also include monitoring, identity theft, threats, vandalism, solicitation for sex, or gathering information that may be used to threaten, embarrass, or harass. Article 34 of the Council of Europe Convention on Preventing and Combating Violence Against Women and Domestic Violence obliges signatory states to criminalise stalking. This article provides an inventory of criminal anti-stalking legislation in the EU member states in order to see whether they live up to this obligation. Another violation often happening online is hate speech. The Council of Europe adopted a recommendation stating the term shall be understood as covering all forms of expression which spread, incite, promote, or justify racial hatred, xenophobia, anti Semitism, or other forms of hatred based on intolerance, including intolerance expressed by aggressive nationalism and ethnocentrism, discrimination, and hostility against minorities, migrants, and people of immigrant origin. Although the definition lists a number of groups which are frequently seen to be the targets of hate speech, it does not limit the possible targets to these groups alone. There have been examples of homophobic and sexist hate speech and instances of intolerance towards people with disabilities or people with different political views. Academic studies have shown that exposure to hate speech can increase prejudice. It can also desensitize individuals to verbal aggression, in part because it normalizes what is usually socially condemned behavior. Just like cyberbullying, threatening language and hate speech can directly trigger reactions in our brains. This can make it hard for people to dial down their emotions and think before they act. So, what can you do to combat hate speech online? Here are some UNESCO recommendations. Education on media ethics. Countering hate speech begins with the realization that whilst freedom of expression is a fundamental human right, the emergence of social media has created multiple platforms for the production, packaging, and dissemination of hate speech. Awareness must be raised on the political, social, and cultural rights of individuals and groups, including freedom of speech and the responsibilities and social implications that come with press freedom. Journalists must be equipped with the knowledge and skills to identify hate speech and counteract hate speech messages. Encourage conflict-sensitive reporting and multicultural awareness campaigns. This can dispel the us against them fallacy. Regulate social media. Press freedom can be enhanced through education on media laws and ethics. Encourage victims and witnesses to report hate speech-related crimes. Hate speech remains largely invisible simply because many victims do not know where to report the case or even understand that they are victims of hate speech. End impunity against hate crimes. Impunity against hate crimes can be tackled by establishing monitoring and evaluation units in newsrooms, for example. You have now completed the second learning material from Module 4, Cyberbullying. We discussed stalking and hate speech online. For more resources that will help you to develop your digital and social media literacy, please visit the Influencers Project website at www.influencersproject.eu.